Good evening. I cannot tell you how excited and relieved I am to have us back in space together. Virtual events are great in many ways, but there is no substitute for watching the twinkle of the eyes of people who have see their friends for the first time in a long time, or listening to the joy embodied in the laughter of people laughing out loud together because they love and respect each other. So for the first time since 2019, we are here together, and we are here together in person, hoping to find strengthening in each other, strength that will fortify us for the continued struggle toward equality, dignity, and justice for people impacted by the criminal legal system in the Deep South. We are grateful for your strength tonight because this past year has been tough for the Southern Center for Human Rights in ways that are deeply personal. Very shortly after our last virtual event, this event in May of 2021, our friend and public policy director, Marissa McCall-Dotson, passed away. Marissa's passing shook us to our core, and even now, it's tough not to feel cheated, to feel robbed of her brilliance, her humor, her leadership, and her friendship. But what keeps us going is the tremendous legacy that Marissa leaves for us. She showed us the way, and we are committed to carrying forward her work to help us all get free of mass incarceration, free of the death penalty, free of the criminalization of poverty, and free of racial injustice. Later in the program tonight, you will hear from Stephen Bright, SCHR's former president and senior counsel, who will pay tribute to our beloved Palmer Singleton, a former SCHR attorney and a mentor to so many. We lost Palmer earlier this year. And when I think of Palmer, I think of a beer commercial, where the person was described as the most interesting man in the world. So that guy in that commercial was an actor, but as you will hear from Steve this evening, Palmer Singleton was the real deal. I mentioned getting free earlier, and now I want to tell you what that looks like in practice. It looks like Terry Pierce, Darrell Clayton, Charles Amos, and Henry Dixon, all in the past 6 weeks, walking free from prisons in Georgia and Louisiana. Each man had served more than 2 decades in prison, some more than 4 decades. Getting free looks like these men never giving up. Getting free looks like mentally impaired women who languished in a solitary confinement for months on end, in disgusting and horrific conditions, still finding the courage to demand humane treatment. One survivor described how she felt degraded while incarcerated at the South Fulton Jail, and she says, "I got so tired of being locked in a concrete room all day. It felt like being a bird in a cage that can't fly anymore. It felt like nobody cared about me." Those women took their fight to federal court and won a settlement that substantially proves conditions in the South Fulton Jail. That's what getting free looks like. Getting free looks like more than 60 Black and brown young people who were baselessly arrested after attending a party in Cartersville, Georgia, saying, "We won't take this. You cannot abuse us and just get away with it." Those young people forced the city to pay almost $1 million to settle their lawsuit. Mrs. Lopez, one of the people arrested, describes the aftermath of her arrest this way. Even though the charges were dropped 3 years ago, it still affected me mentally and emotionally. I never pictured myself going through that. It made me more aware of prejudice in the legal system, more aware of what people experience every day. Getting free. Getting free looks like Charles McCrory and Jimmy Rogers fighting tooth and nail to overturn their murder convictions based on junk science. Jimmy Rogers and his team, including folks from the Innocence Project, are in Rome, Georgia today and tomorrow, presenting evidence that support his claim that the bite marks evidence that sent him to prison has been debunked as unreliable. I think of all the years that Charles and Jimmy have sat in prison and all the challenges that they have faced along the way, and I am inspired by their internal will to fight. Getting free looks like many community members with whom we partner and whom we stand with and who grow weary of being criminalized because they live in poverty, weary of being criminalized for being Black, criminalized for being a member of the LGBTQ+ community, criminalized for being other. Because these community members raised their voices, they were able to stop Senate Bill 171, which would have criminalized lawful protests and would have authorized violence against protesters. They also stopped Senate Bill 504, which would have compromised public safety by mandating cash bail for all felonies. These communities are getting free by building coalitions that harness the power of togetherness. And in each one of these instances, in each one of these quests for justice, quests for freedom, SCHR has been privileged to be a partner. Some of our team at SCHR were asked to why we choose this work, what motivates us. And so I want to show you a little video about what we said.
I've seen some of the greatest lawyers walk through this office. These people are the reason why we sit where we're sitting today. Everyone that has walked through these doors have played a major role.
We are partners in a community of people who are committed to creating change. We are friends to people who need our friendship. We are learners, we are listeners, we are people who pride ourselves in speaking truth to power. We pride ourselves in supporting the people who are directly impacted by this cruel and inhumane system. And we do what it takes to raise up their stories, to stand with them, to help guide and protect and support people who are directly impacted. And we find joy and passion in coming to work and doing the work that we do every day for the people that we are trying to help and serve.
The satisfaction that you get from doing some work that benefits people who would otherwise be disregarded by society and suffer really in unimaginable ways. It's inherently rewarding to give of your time and money to something that materially improves the lives of others.
Because I wanted to do work that would transform this criminal legal system more than any other organization. The Southern Center was getting on the ground and telling the stories. And I just couldn't think of a more worthwhile way to use my time and to dedicate my life.
These fights are difficult. The legal landscape is incredibly complex, and it's really inspirational to get to know a team that doesn't ever forget about the people that we're doing the work on behalf of.
Why am I here? Because I want to do what wasn't done for me. I didn't have any assistance with my reentry navigation, because I think had I had a little bit more help, I wouldn't have struggled for 10 years after I got released.
Overall, the system embodies all the worst forms of oppression that exist in our society. I want to have a role in uprooting those systems and in minimizing and ultimately trying to do away with that suffering.
I feel very highly motivated to try to level that playing field. I do that in my work professionally as a forensic investigator, that transfers a lot into what we're doing here at the Southern Center to try to equalize that inequality that's experienced at the justice system level.
Because I believe that in the center corners of my soul, that we can do something about this darkness and that God can be given glory in that moment.
Being the mom of 3 kids, when I think about my boys in the world, I think about the clients that we have, the work that we do, and the work we will continue to do. I am honored to be among the people that I work with, to stand on the shoulders of the people that came before me.
I just feel so privileged to be a part of a team that I love, to be a part of a community that is fighting this fight despite all odds. The honor and privilege, being able to do work that makes me proud, being able to leave a legacy for my children that I hope will make them proud. So I said a lot in that video, and I'm going to take my seat in just a second, but before I do, I want to tell you one last story. When I was in college, I had an opportunity to do a study abroad program, and my parents couldn't afford to send me on the program without incurring substantial debt, and so I started a fundraiser. I made flyers with my picture on it, and talked about all my accomplishments and what I would do and learn, and I took them out in the community, to grocery stores, to car washes, anywhere I saw people. But one Sunday after church, one of the church mothers, and a church mother is also known as a sweet little lady who sits on the front pew in church, she came up to me and she placed in my hand, oh my God, the change that she had in her purse. I'm so emotional, y'all. Just accept that part about me. She gave me the change in her purse, and it wasn't even $2, but it was all she had, and she gave it to me. And she gave it to me because she wanted me to know that she believed in me. She wanted to invest in my success and in my future. And so it's difficult for me to talk about this moment in my life because it still feels so powerful and it still means so much to me that she gave what she could because she saw something in me that she wanted to support. And so I want you to know tonight that every ticket you purchased, every sponsorship you bought, every donation you made is an investment. It is an investment in all of us at SCHR who take injustice personally. An investment in people like Lucy Harrell, who you will hear from next. An investment in a vision for a world where the criminal legal system is not used as a tool to concentrate power and control, but instead as a true instrument of justice by which individuals and communities hold each other accountable. Thank you for being our partners and for being our friends, and please tell all of your friends that if they want to invest in the Southern Center for Human Rights, they need only go to www.schr.org.